Alright, so in this video we're going to go through on how you should contact your leads in the best way. And who am I to stand here and say on how you should contact your leads? Well, I'm Noah, and I'm a part of the Team Tattoo Growth team. And I've been spending over 3 million euros on ads for tattoo businesses, both tattoo artists and studios all around the world, and generated over 15 million euros in bookings. So I would say I'm qualified to speak about this because I have seen what works the best and what doesn't work in most cases. So today we're going to speak about on how you should contact on what we call so-called leads. So what is leads, first of all? Leads are people that is interested in getting a tattoo with you or coming in for a consultation if we're talking about in the tattoo industry. And what you want to do with the leads that you get with interested people that are like interested in getting a tattoo with you, like you will get both warm leads and cold leads, which means that the warm leads are probably people that are already following you or have seen you before and are basically already sold on that you can make a tattoo for them. So they don't really need that much push in order to get the appointment. But you will also be experiencing cold leads, which means that these are people that maybe just seen your ad online. They click in, they have no idea on who you are. And these people is what we're going to talk about today on how you can convert the most amount of leads into booked tattoo consultations and into booked tattoo appointments. So basically leads are people that are interested in getting a tattoo with you or coming in for a consultation. And what I want to say by this as well is that maybe you've heard the saying that you should double your leads. Double your leads, double your business. Because with more leads means more interested people. So if you double the amount of interested people you get, you will also double your business, right? So it's all about collecting the leads because that is what will take your business to a new level whatsoever. And this you can do through ads, you can do through content, you can do through people that are following you, re-engaging on Instagram. You can do this in a lot of different ways, right? But today we will speak about on how you can contact these leads and nurture them in the best possible way in order for you to get the most amount of leads into the people in getting a tattoo with you, into a consultation and into a tattoo appointment. And this is what we have seen works the absolute best with the most of the artists and studios that we have been working with that has generated millions and millions of euros using these strategies. So first of all, what is the main goal with leads? The only thing you want to do with a lead that comes in is not to sell them on the tattoo appointment, but to sell them on the consultation. I hope you can see what I'm writing, because it's fucking difficult to write in a whiteboard. But your main thing that you should be focusing on is only to sell them on the meeting and on the consultation. Because you will get leads that the first thing they ask is for the price. They will ask on how much it costs and all of those questions that you have had before, both in DMs or if you're running ads and you've gotten in leads that way. The thing is, why you're losing most people is because when people ask for the price, you answer with a number, right? Because that is why you lose them. The only thing you should focus on when being in contact with the leads before the consultation is to never, ever, ever mention any prices whatsoever. Because you can't know their finalized idea if you've not yet had the consultation with them, see if they want to upsell on more details, if they can be a larger project. Like, you can't really know for sure what type of idea they want and how you can help them in the best way. Therefore, you can't mention a price before, and you should not mention a price before because that can scare the customer away. So what you should do is to only sell them on the consultation and only on the meeting in the studio. And how you do that is by simply texting to them or saying in the call that, hey, do you got time on Thursday or Tuesday to come in for a coffee or an energy drink, and we can go through some ideas you have for the tattoos and see if we can help you make your dream tattoo a reality, basically. So it should be a as small possible step as humanly possible to get them into the door, right? That's your only mission when working with leads. Not mention any price, don't book in large projects that way. Of course you can do that as well, but that's not the majority of cases that you can do that with. You can do that with the warm leads that already know you and stuff like that. Maybe they have already done a tattoo with you, but you can't do that with leads that doesn't know you from the beginning. So what you do, only book them in for a consultation, and that's where the selling happens, not beforehand. So how do you contact the leads? Well, first and foremost, the most important part is that you do it fast. You gotta contact leads fast. Because when you're doing ads on Instagram and Facebook, for example, you get people while they are scrolling on their social media. If you don't contact them within the first day or the maximum 3 days, people will already have forgotten on what they have taken part of, and they have probably already been contacted by any of your competitors. So the most important part is to contact them fast. Like, hopefully within hours of the day coming in, or the same day at least, or the day afterwards. Just some sort of touch point so they know that they have taken part of the offer and continue the conversation from there and book them in for the consultation. And you can do this by sending a copy-paste message saying just like who is writing, in what city, why you're writing, and you're doing that because they took part of the offer, for example, and what day it would suit them to come in for a consultation, for a coffee, energy drink, or what type of design they have in mind. Just a very friendly and personalized message so they immediately know who is texting, who is writing, and all of that good stuff. And what is also good to know about this is that people have busy lives. So if people don't immediately answer you when you're double dialing on the phone, for example, because that is what we recommend doing the most, if you're confident with that, to call them up 2 times and then send SMS. Like, people are busy. Not all of them will pick up on the same day, on the day afterwards, because people pick up their children from daycare. They do all type of stuff, right? Maybe they have to go to the bank, they have to pay their mortgage, like all of this good stuff. People even forget to like pick up their children at school. So of course they will forget about taking, like, speaking with you regarding their offer that they've taken part of, right? So what's really important here is the consistency and the way you're contacting them. And what we always recommend is that you contact them through double dialing, sending an SMS, and then you do the exact same process day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5 with the same leads, right? And the majority of them will of course pick up before then, but like 80, maybe you're getting 80% on and 20% doesn't really answer. Some will say they are not interested, stuff like that. Like, there's impossible for you to book in all the leads. It rarely never happens. But the majority of the people you can be able to book in. And the good part about being in the tattoo industry is also that it's so fucking profitable. Like, I will go more into this later on, but it's so profitable, so you can pay kind of a lot in ad spend and still make it very profitable for you if you're doing it in the right way. So how you contact the leads is mainly depending on the country that you're in. For example, I'm based in Sweden. So here WhatsApp is not as big as it is in other countries outside of Sweden. So we mainly focus on regular calls and sending SMS. That's like the best ways to reach people. Because if you're only sending mail, for example, the open rate, the response rate on mail is very low because people get bombarded with mails every single day. If you're calling, usually after working hours, you get a lot of pickups because then people know that it's not a phone seller that is calling. If you're sending a personalized message, they also know where you're from, and people like usually open up their messages much more than they do on mail. So the different platforms you can use is basically phone, you have WhatsApp where you can call them and text them, and you have mail. So you have 5 different ways of reaching the people. And if you want to go to the extreme, you can even search them up on Instagram and write to them in DM, right? If you don't get any answers. The more ways you can reach them, the better, because everyone is very individual in what they have as preferences and where they are most active, right? So you got to find a way that works best for you. For example, we got Ted in the program that when he went to Germany, they are much more used to using WhatsApp. So when he switched from using regular phone to using WhatsApp, he like doubled his open rate and show up rate and response rate and all of that. So you got to find what works best in the country that you're in, basically. And another thing we should want to go through that is very valuable is on how to nurture your leads. Because it is not enough when working with leads to only send one SMS or contact them one time. That's not enough because, as I said, people have fucking busy lives, all right? So you gotta nurture the leads in the best possible way that can save you both time and get you the most amount of clients in as humanly possible. And how you do that is basically to have copy-paste messages ready to have the first message sent out to them, where you just change the name in the message. It could be a very personalized message like I mentioned before. And then you have 3 or 4 copy-paste messages that you can send afterwards according to that. So you always have them ready to send out, so you don't have to type the message to every single person that comes in, right? The number one thing to do there as well is to, of course, double dial them. And what I mean by that is to not only call once, because the majority of people have do not disturb mode on their phone, and then you won't get through. So double dial at least 1 time or 2 times per day to the lead, and then send an SMS, and you continue doing that basically for a couple of days. So what we recommend, the exact process is that on day 1, you contact them as fast as possible as the leads that comes in. You do a double dial, send an SMS. And then you do the same day 2, day 3, day 4. You can also send mail if you want to be very extreme and you got time for that as well. And after day 5, you can start doing it every 3rd day, for example. And once you've done that 3 times, you can wait until day 30, day 60, day 90. But just keep them in the system so you always know that you can follow them up, because you never know what happens in people's life. Maybe they take part of the offer, and 1 hour before or 1 hour later, maybe something very terrible happens in their life, which makes them unavailable to answer anything for the next like couple of months. But maybe if you keep following them up in like 4 months, maybe they are still very interested in getting a tattoo, and you do it in a respectful way. Of course, they are interested in coming in because in their mind, they took part of a tattoo offer. So that's good to keep in mind as well. And the last part that I want to go a little bit more deep into is on what do you write to them. Maybe I can write message. What do you write to them in the text? So these texts, I recommend them to do after you've been calling them, but I want to go through what you can say in the text. So first of all, you should mention the name, where you're calling from, so maybe studio or artist name or Instagram name or anything like that, and also what city. Because this becomes personal because you both mention their name, so you say, hey Noah, for example, this is Noah from Tattoo Studio in this city, right? This is the introduction that you should have, because that makes it personal and people recognize you more if they have taken part of the offer and they are in the same city as you. What you do afterwards is just explain to why you are writing to them, and that is because they showed interest on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram and Facebook regarding your tattoo offer. That's what you want to write, and also what the offer is. After that, you should have a clear call to action, which means a clear call to action on what happens after the message. So for example, what type of idea for a tattoo did you have in mind? Would it suit you to come in next week for a tattoo consultation, maybe coming in for a coffee or a soda? Just some type of question to make them have to answer you in some sense and to send their ideas and continue the conversation. That's what the call to action is about, right? And then you of course end with some type of best regards. And then you can just mention your name, the studio you're at, what city you're in, maybe your Instagram name, stuff like that. And what's very important here is that from the beginning, you will have an easier time converting leads if you have a high quality social media profile that is optimized for this. And you will also have high quality content, right? It's very important because if you have a good social media presence where basically everyone goes in and watch, doing ads, converting leads, building trust, and everything like that is so much easier. So do that from the beginning to build that base from the ground up. And the last part is when you're calling them and you're sending double dial, when they answer, what should you say? So what should you say in the call? In the call, you just introduce yourself very shortly. But the most important thing here is to not sound like a phone salesperson, right? Don't be over exaggerated, anything like that. Just be yourself, right? Just know that you are confident, you know what you're doing them a service because they showed interest on your ads, so you're doing them a service by contacting them and booking them in for a tattoo with you, because that is what they have shown interest in. You're not cold calling anyone, right? Keep that in mind because it's very important to be confident, be yourself, and just introduce yourself very quickly, and that they are the people that has shown interest, right? Very important. And you can follow kind of the same structure that I had in the message for this, to just introduce yourself, say their name, that you're calling from this studio in this city, so they know that it's someone in their city that is calling, and that you're calling them because they had showed interest on Facebook and Instagram yesterday, this day, 3 days ago, blah, 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 right? And then you just keep the conversation from there, and all you want to do is to only book in the consultation, right? If they ask for the price, say that, well, I can't really answer the price right now because I don't really know exactly how your idea will look or what type of things you have in mind. So that is what we recommend: to come into the studio, have a coffee, have a soda with me. It's completely for free. Just a free consultation for you to come in, check the studio, get to know us, and see what type of tattoo that we can make for you. Does Tuesday or Thursday work the best for you, right? Don't be like, would you like to come in for a consultation? Because that is a yes or no question. Be more like, would you like to come in on Tuesday or Thursday works best for you, because that is a yes or yes question. Make sense? All right. So that is how the leads process can look, and all of the different tips and strategies that we have seen works the absolute best after working with both startup artists from the beginning, but also to some of the most successful artists and studios around the world. And that is what we have seen works the best, both when we've been texting and calling them and having the relationship with them, but also in hand when we've been visiting a lot of these people. And what I can say to this is that you can have the best marketing in the world, but if your sales is shit, you won't get any leads. And the same is if your marketing is shit and your sales is best, you won't have any leads to call and contact and book in. So it's a two-way street here, right? So you got to be very good at marketing, and you also got to be very good at sales. And if you have these two combined with a fucking amazing experience that you can give as a tattoo artist or studio, so they also come back, then you will have a fucking tattoo business powerhouse, right? Get new customers, earn more per customer, and keep them longer. That's what you want to do. So that's about it for this video. I hope it was valuable and that you can take away some golden nuggets from this one. And that you can see what I'm writing, even though it looks like dog shit on the whiteboard here. But I hope you can see what I'm writing, and I hope you can find some value from it. So try and implement all of these things. And if you would like us to send over like a free PDF of different ways of getting in tattoo clients, maybe a free case study, or a mini course that is completely free that we've recorded, any free resources, they will be linked in the description, or we can send them over to you. Just comment or text us on our Instagram, which is Tattoo Growth Official, and we'll send it over to you for free. No fluff, no like bullshit or anything. Just sending over some free value. Hopefully you can take part of that. So yeah, that's about it for this video. I hope it was valuable, and I will talk to you in the next one. Take care.